do scary things that you don't know how to do. So here I am. I'm live on YouTube. For those of you who are watching me on YouTube, please know that this is a Clubhouse room that I'm doing right now. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone where all my Clubhouse people are. And those of you who are here in Clubhouse, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. I appreciate you being here. I have just started experimenting with putting links in my Clubhouse, and there is a link up at the top to my alter ego protocol, which I will be talking about in a moment. Wow, I'm realizing my lips look really dry on this YouTube video. Anyway, so as we go through this, I want to teach you the things that I have learned along the way as I've been doing group hypnosis sessions. And the reason I do group hypnosis sessions is because when I decided, so I was a hairstylist and I thought, I want to make a really good living. I want to reach lots of people. My favorite thing about my job as a hairstylist was connecting with my clients, which was actually really surprising to me because when I started doing hair, I thought that the interaction with my clients was going to be the least enjoyable part. I just loved doing hair, but I was really nervous about when I had gotten my hair done growing up and as a young adult, there was always so much gossiping and talking about things that I wasn't interested in talking about. Not that I never gossip. I'm not perfect in that department, but I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to like the interaction. And that turned out to be my favorite part. So I wanted to, oh, Denise, thank you. I see you. Denise is here in Facebook or YouTube with me. It was so gratifying connecting with people that I knew I wanted to continue in a career where I connected with people, but I didn't want to trade dollars for hours anymore. I didn't want to make money based on how long I was behind the chair or in a client session. And I insisted on making sure that group sessions could be effective. When I decided I was going to become a hypnotist, I thought, what if I could do this in a group and it could be effective? Fast forward, it's been almost 5 years now, and I have done hundreds of group sessions, mostly my weekly Trancy Tuesday sessions, but also one-off group sessions. And I've learned what really matters when it comes to doing an effective group session. And by effective, for me, it is that the people on the call experience a transformation that exceeds their expectation. Because it's one thing to be able to bring people into a group, which is a skill all on its own, but it's another thing to actually be able to deliver on the thing that you provide. And one of the things that I'm most grateful for is that I hear over and over feedback saying that, this was above and beyond. This was way more than I expected. And so the 3 ingredients that are necessary, I call it my SIP protocol. S as in Sam, I, P. S stands for state, I is for intention, and P is for permission. And I'm going to break each one of those down for you. So it is important to prepare. It's important, obviously, to know what you're going to share. And I can briefly give you the synopsis, the outline of how I structure my group sessions in a moment. But that is secondary. And I mean way down the line of what really matters when it comes to creating transformational group hypnosis sessions. The most important part of any session that you lead is who you are being during the session. So if you show up and you are feeling insecure, you're thinking, what if I screw up? What if I lose my Zoom connection? What if somebody asks me a question I don't know how to answer? What if? There's so many possible things that can go wrong. And if you show up for that call and you have the perfect call outline, you have everything you need for a successful session, but in your head, you are what ifing all the scary things and you are showing up as the nervous version of you who is feeling lots of pressure, that session is going to bomb. So the most important thing is who you are being during the session. And what I'm about to teach you, and the link that's up at the top of this room goes into detail about how I teach people to change their state before they get on the call. But let me see who's in this room. Okay, so most of the people who are in here, I know you and I know that you're a hypnotist, so you know what I mean by state. But just in case someone watching the replay doesn't know, if you've ever said, there's a part of me that feels really confident in certain situations, but then there's a part of me that feels like awkward and uncomfortable and insecure in other situations. This is these different parts of you, these different ways of showing up in the world. You can think of these as your states. So we all have, we all feel really playful. If you're rolling around on the floor with a puppy and just being silly, that's this childlike state that a person can access. And if you've ever had a conversation with someone you feel really comfortable about and they ask you a question about a topic you feel really passionate about, you can just speak and the words just flow. And so that's a state, that's a part of you. There are ways, and the reason I became a hypnotist is because I realized, oh my gosh, I can change who I am being. I can change my state at any given time. And I won't go too deep into that. But what I'm about to show you, to a person who doesn't understand how our brains work, it might sound like I'm asking you to fake it till you make it, but I want you to know that is not what I'm asking you to do. I am actually showing you how to unlock a part of you that knows how to be confident, that knows how to present yourself in a way that is fluid. And I just got distracted. I apologize because someone came in the room and raised their hand. John, I'm going to invite you up on stage. I'm not sure if you meant to come up on stage, but I'm going to bring you up to speak and you're welcome to accept it or decline it. And then since I'm live on YouTube right now, I won't invite you to speak yet, but I had to click that because I didn't want to miss you if you want to come up here. Okay, so there is a way for people to unlock confidence, because here's a neuroscience fact. If you can detect confidence in another person, if you can actually look at someone and say, wow, that person is a confident person, that means that it is a trait that is inside you. It might just be very underutilized and lying dormant. But if you can see it in someone else, if you can see it, you can be it. So the first thing that I want you to do if you're going to do a group hypnosis session is to get in the right state first. And the way I do that is with my alter ego protocol. And again, I won't go in depth. You can listen to that Clubhouse room just by clicking that link at the top of the page. If you're watching on YouTube, I will put the link up in the description of this video when I'm finished with the live. And the way it works, so here's how I do it. I do my sessions from a standing desk. I'm actually standing here right now, and I will walk away. I'll go and stand in the doorway, and I'll look at the spot where I'm going to stand. And I don't do this as much anymore because now I am the alter ego. I'm so used to doing this that I know I can just show up as confident Lori, even though I did not think of myself as confident Lori before. And so I would ask myself, who would be really good at doing this session? And the kinds of names that came to mind were like Tony Robbins or Brene Brown or Oprah, different people who or like my teacher, Mike Mandel. And so I would stand in my doorway and I would look at the spot where I was going to stand for my session. And it works just as well if you're sitting. I actually think it works a little better. If you're standing, you're able to utilize confidence even more. But if that's not an option, sitting is fine. And just imagine the person who would be so good at this sitting in that spot. You can, so if it was Tony Robbins, I would imagine him with his big bombastic voice and speaking animatedly. And you just notice their posture. You notice the way they're moving their body. If you're not a highly visual person, this works just as well because you can just imagine it in the way that's right for you. But you would imagine the way they're moving their body. You would be looking at the spot where you are going to sit or stand and imagining the way, like looking at their facial expressions. Watch the way they move their face. Listen to the quality of their voice. Look at the way they're breathing as they speak. And then I will imagine like a thought bubble. I call this the 3 B's. It's the body language, the breathing, and the belief. And that belief is just what they're saying to themselves. People think beliefs are hard to change, but all it is self-talk. So if Tony Robbins was giving a group session, I imagine that he would be saying, "This is so fun." I just realized I have yellow food coloring on my thumb on my YouTube live. He would be saying, "This is so fun. This is awesome. I love this. Look at these people getting the transformation." And when you take on those 3 Bs, that body language, that breathing, and that belief, everything shifts. And rather than overthinking this, if you do it in a childlike, playful way, you bypass the overthinking part of your brain and let the unconscious take on the behavior itself. So I will look at that spot. I will imagine that alter ego in that spot doing an incredible group session. And then I will go and step inside their body. And I will take on Tony Robbins' 3 Bs or Brene Brown's 3 Bs or Oprah's 3 Bs and imagine doing that session as Oprah. So that's step one. And again, this is my favorite protocol, you guys. If you are a hypnotist and you feel like you struggle with self-hypnosis, to me, this is what it's all about. If you can learn to change your 3 Bs, you can become an expert self-hypnotist. So click that link at the top and listen to that room because you will love it. The second one is intention. And this has a lot to do with that 3 B, that belief. It's what you are saying to yourself. And so when I do this at the beginning of my sessions, I will often imagine this dynamic loop happening between me and the screen where it's like, I imagine looking at the people on the screen and their faces just lighting up. And if you're going to do this live, there's not a whole lot of live going on, right? By live, I mean in person. If you're doing an in-person group, it works the exact same. But since most of this is being done over Zoom right now, I'll just imagine that I'm looking at the Zoom screen and I see people's faces lighting up, or that it's at the end of the session and people are sending me messages and saying, "That changed my life. Thank you so much." So you really want to focus on what you want. Again, this is just another what if, and we're always what ifing ourselves anyway. We might be saying, "What if this doesn't work? What if people hate this? What if people ask for their money back? What if all these negative things?" When we just switch our what if and think, "What if this completely transforms people?" Everything shifts. When we think, "What if I lose my Wi-Fi connection?" That does not equip us for success. That pulls us right out of that powerful state that we are trying to maintain, that we are aiming to maintain. And so your self-talk is so important. And a big part of this is just setting an intention at the beginning that this is going to transform people's lives. And this can be scary, especially if you're new to doing group work and you don't really know if it will work yet. So when I started doing this, I did an 8-week group session and I made it completely free because I wasn't willing to charge people if I didn't know it could work. And I remembered my teacher, Mike Mandel, teaching that you need to be the wizard. You need to just imagine this magical transformation happening. Mike Mandel calls himself the God Hypnos in human form. And I think there's something so empowering about choosing to believe that a powerful outcome can happen. If we second guess ourselves and doubt ourselves, that comes across and it decreases our effectiveness. So I invite you to dream big. I invite you to believe that there's something bigger than you, something energetic that happens. And that can be liberating because then you don't have to be perfect to make it happen, but something linked to that intention to generate transformation on the call that allows it to happen. And then that third piece of the protocol. So that's the state is the first one, intention is the second, and permission is the third. And so that permission piece, this is a way of what hypnotists call future pacing. So it's when you feel something really powerful. You are standing there as Tony Robbins. You are breathing powerfully. You are saying, "What if this call changes people's lives?" You then think about during the session, if something comes up that you weren't expecting, if you forget what you were going to say, if you lose your place, if somebody asks a question that throws you off, if you lose your connection, you give yourself permission to step right back into that state. And I do this, like when I used to do one-on-one sessions, I would do this in my one-on-one sessions when they would say something and I would be like, "I have no idea how to help this person. What am I doing here?" And it's teaching you to use that moment of self-doubt, that moment of, oh shoot, what am I in for? Like, what's going to happen? Because you will have those throughout the session. I still have those after doing hundreds and hundreds, maybe not hundreds and hundreds. I've done at least 200 sessions now. Um, and I still have those moments where I'm like, oh crap, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to answer this. I feel ridiculous. I'm making a fool of myself. And so that P is just going right back into Tony Robbins, going right back into Oprah, reminding yourself. And it can be as simple as saying, I've got this. I can do this. And sometimes I'll say this out loud. I'll be in a session. And those of you who have been in Transy Tuesdays have seen me do this, where I might lose my train of thought and say, you can do this, Lori. You've got this, Lori. I can find my way. I can remember what I was about to say. And there is a part of you, some of us call it the subconscious mind, some of us call it the unconscious mind. There is a part of you that knows how to flip a switch. So that permission part is just flipping a switch to go right back into that powerful positive state that lets you say, I can do this. Your mind, your body, the essence of you will fight to make sure that you don't come off as a liar. So if in your mind you're like, I can't do this, I don't know how to help this person, oh my gosh, I can't, like, what am I doing here? I shouldn't be doing this. That part of you that wants to make you a truth teller is going to continue to have you screw up. But if you start just simply saying, I can do this, this can be fun, I've got this, what if something amazing is about to happen? All of a sudden your resources will come online. As my teacher, Mike Vandell, says, you will remember things that you need to remember. They'll just flow from you as you speak. I have had Zoom sessions where, and this was a paid session where everyone on the call had paid $100 to $150 to be there. And within the first 30 seconds of the call, my fire alarm went off. And I was in an apartment building, and it was like a building wide alarm. So there was nothing I could do about it. And I used this P that I gave myself permission to realize what if something amazing happens from this? And I said, just a minute, you guys, I have my fire alarm going off. I'm going to figure this out. I muted myself. I logged into Zoom on my phone. I went and sat in my car and did the first part of the session from my car until the alarm turned off. And when I walked back in from my car to from my car into my apartment, I could hear the people on the session saying, oh man, it's so awesome how she's just going with the flow. And it actually built more rapport and turned out to be a really good situation because that had happened. And I had told myself, I can do this. I can make it through. So I hope that is helpful. In a moment, not yet, but in a moment, I'm going to end this YouTube live and then invite anyone who's here in Clubhouse to raise your hand and ask questions. I don't know how to stream that part on YouTube, so I'll end the YouTube live. If you're watching on YouTube live, find me on Facebook and direct message me on Facebook, or leave a comment here. I'm really pretty good about checking my YouTube comments. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this worked like it should. I'm assuming it did because I see Denise here. And Denise said, I was watching Dr. Phil yesterday while at the hospital with Teresa. I hope it's okay that I'm reading this, Denise. And he used the words, what if, to the young lady he was helping. And I immediately thought of you teaching me this as a tool. Thank you so much, Denise. So yeah, the words what if are so powerful, and we're always doing it to ourselves. We're always thinking, what if this scary thing happens? What if I mess up in this way? What if? And the fact that you do it automatically means that you are already so good at it. So you can just reverse engineer that natural mechanism and start to say, what if this amazing thing happens? What if it turned out even better than I expected? All right, I'm going to say goodbye to my YouTube people and focus on my Clubhouse people. Clicking end stream. Okay.